Oh yeah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Airship Lounge. I am your host on this tour, Crimson Rosso, and I am joined by a semi recurring guest we've had so far. How about you introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey, what's going on, everybody? If you don't know me by now, I guess I don't know, but every once in a while, yeah, I get summoned up. So back from the dead again to talk a little bit about some of the goings ons that are going on. So yeah, looking forward to it. You can find me on Twitter, causing all kinds of mayhem with the Nintendo fans right now. Or conversely, if you want to watch my dumb dog shit content, you can go to flipping. I'm known as flipping the swit now, or swit tube. So whichever.
And speaking of Nintendo, it's funny you mentioned that because I think that opens us up to talk about our main thing for tonight, the Switch 2.
Oh boy.
So I invited you on here because I think people who know you have been fairly critical of the Switch 2's launch.
Yeah, a little bit.
And I have been, but however, you have not been, you have also admitted that you're willing to be, while you've been critical, you're also admitting to be rather fair, and you're going to wait and see for your
Well,
full
yeah.
opinion.
It makes no sense. Like some of these people jumping, calling it a failure and calling it like you don't fucking know that, man.
Yeah, there's like
Like
that.
it's been out for 3 weeks, man. Like there are certain inferences we can make looking at the data, but really we won't know anything about performance wise till probably spring or summer. And then on top of that, all the people that just out and out grind their feet in the sand, not buying it. Well, okay, well then Nintendo can just write you off. They don't have to listen to a goddamn fucking thing you say. You should have demands. You should tell the company what you need in order to buy the product, and you should stick to that.
And so far, the Switch has, at the very least, had a very strong start. The Switch 2, like,
Yeah, I don't think that was going to surprise anybody except morons. Like,
yeah, like it's very strong start, broke records, I believe, right? Like the strongest sale in like history.
yeah, but you got to remember about fastest selling. So, fastest selling is largely investor terminology. It's for gullible investors, right?
Right,
So, what I mean by that is every system. So, you have a thing called population increase, right?
right.
And so, every system you produce should be every game you produce in your franchise, every system you sell should be the fastest selling. If it's not, you're not keeping pace. You're not doing better. You're not even keeping pace. In fact, you're going backwards. If your system that you're selling 8 years after your last system is selling equal or lesser than the other system, you're fucked up. You got problems. But yeah, that's obviously not the case here. Not only is it fastest selling, which means nothing to me, but it's the extent by which it is the fastest selling.
Four
The
days.
numbers are very big.
Yeah, 3.5 million, I believe it was, in a span of
There you
four
go.
days.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I don't see any way you can really spin that except an unmitigated success. At the very least, it is a success in terms of meeting the current demand. But we're in the supply phase right now, which means that we're now Nintendo managed to not be supply constrained, which is a huge deal.
Yeah,
Huge deal.
that was easily their biggest victory because unlike a lot of their other sale like systems, it seems like they were a lot more prepared for this one.
Yes, and then they had time because of the success of the Switch. I told everybody that was going to happen. I told everybody when they finally get around to releasing their new system, they bought themselves 2 years of production because the Switch just keeps selling, man.
Yeah, like that was smart. They had extra time, so they were able to accordingly planned out how many they need. And another thing about the Switch 2, apparently it still has like people out in lines to buy them, so it's still a product in demand at the moment. I'm not sure how long, but that also brings us to another question. How long do you think they have with this product is still in demand? Again, and I mean in terms of video games, because right now, obviously, we both watched that Donkey Kong trailer. Mario Kart World has like it's kind of split people, but for the most part, a lot of people really like it. And Donkey Kong Bonanza seems to just be a majority vote that this game looks awesome.
Well, it's the same team that did Odyssey, no doubt. I think we're gonna find that out when it launches. It has the Odyssey DNA. You know what I mean by that?
Yes, it feels very
Seems like
open. Like do whatever you want. The
yeah. It
main thing
seems to
that
have the
it was
Odyssey
the main thing that
DNA
sold
now.
64 for people was like here's this big area, just go do whatever you want.
Oh, Donkey Kong 64 was a fucking butter and ham disaster. That game was a train wreck.
Yeah,
Um,
by the way, this comes from someone who beat the game. I actually beat that whole thing. I went through the whole game and beat it.
suffered through that whole game. Oh my god.
So the thing I'll say about Donkey Kong is it is a game that this is also a complaint against it. It is a game that it's at its best when you only play it for 30 to 45 minutes. That is that is praise I can give because it feels like a Donkey Kong game, you know. It's very it's got a lot of like
Right.
goofy ass personality. Like for God's sakes, there's a dude with a fucking rocket launcher of goddamn pineapples. You can't get more like charming than that.
I don't give a shit when anybody says the DK rap is like peak culture. I don't
Oh, it
give a
is.
shit what people.
It's so good it got brought back for Mario for the Mario movie.
Yeah, it's so good, and also I do like the "Oh Banana" reference.
Yeah.
They managed to sneak one of those in that Donkey Kong trailer. Now you mentioned something about like people being divided on Mario Kart World. I don't really know what the fuck there is to be divided about. Like looking at that game, it just looks good,
A lot
right?
of people are not. It's mainly just a lot of people aren't fans of, and some complaints are very fair, like not being able to track the P switches in the open world is very annoying.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Stuff like that. Okay.
Some people
'Cause the way
hate
I
it
look at it,
because they don't like
the
the.
main my main concern with Mario Kart World is that I look at games kind of like dishes at a restaurant, right? So I
Mhm.
may, depending on my appetite, like they're servicing an appetite, and depending on what my appetite is, I'll order a different dish that night. So I might order chicken one night, might order salmon the next, might get a big old steak and baked potato the next night, right?
Mhm.
Now, with Mario Kart, what is the appetite that Mario Kart fulfills? Well, it's an arcade battle racer. That's what it does.
Mhm.
My concern, and apparently it wasn't super, it didn't super come to fruition, is now you've put me in an open world. I have to spend time driving to the different races I want to go to. I've got to spend. How much is that going to be taking away from the arcade battle racing? And apparently, you can select your courses. You can, for knockout mode, you can select a string of courses. It's all pretty well done, apparently, from what I gather. So
Mhm.
that was the main thing: was how much is this open world going to take away from the reason I order that dish, the reason I order that game up and play that game.
Yeah.
And they seem to have avoided a lot of those concerns.
It kind of looks like it's a very fun world to screw around in, and I think that's one of its strongest aspects. Like,
Yeah, and again, done right, like it could revolutionize Mario Kart. I see no reason why that hasn't happened.
yeah, it's
Now in terms of Donkey Kong, yeah, I see pretty much universal acclaim. I have some of my concerns again, whether they'll either come true or will not come true, and we'll get into that. But the question originally was, how long do I think this system has before we reach the demand phase, right? Because
Mhm.
right now we're still in the supply phase. We're still supply is well in hand. We're still we don't know what the true demand is because because all even though Nintendo prepared expertly, I don't feel like all of the early adopters have managed to secure their system. And until that happens, those obsessive freaks, the people I so lovingly referred to as hardcore gamers, they're going to obscure what demand actually is. They're gonna fog it up, right?
like,
So the question becomes, when do these people get the fuck out of the way and let us see what's really going on the ground with the more expanded audience, which is what's going to make or break the Switch 2 success.
Mhm.
And I posit that it's going to be late spring, early summer of 2026. The reason for that is Nintendo expertly chose a really good time to launch. They chose the summer, which gives them the entire summer and fall season to build that momentum. Then we get hit with the holidays, and everything. So everything sells in the launch, and everything sells during the holidays. So they've got 6 months of just what is going to basically be a nonstop momentum train. That's what they have,
Mhm.
and that momentum train will either slow, it will keep going, or it will absolutely fall off the fucking tracks come spring or summer. And that's really going to depend on what Nintendo's proposition is, what games they present. It's always about the game.
Yeah, that's actually what we were talking about a little while ago, I believe. That's actually fun fact for those watching. That's what led to this podcast episode was we were talking about like what do you think? What is Nintendo going to put out to get a bunch of interest in the system? Because one thing about the Switch, its strongest aspect that I said earlier was how revolutionary and innovative a lot of its games were. Like one of its like Switch right off the bat that does something that no other Nintendo system did and opened up with like here's open world Zelda, that a game that basically revolutionized an area, a genre filled to the brim with Ubisoft like checklist nonsense. It's like go do whatever the fuck you want in this. Go fight the final boss if you want. Just go have fun. Like and then like after that they immediately followed it up with Mario Odyssey, which was like, hey, you liked Mario 64? Here's that. Here's like basically a sequel, but like everything is 10 times better.
Yes.
It's like
Mario Odyssey is. In fact, Mario Odyssey is literally. It's the first game that I ever truly for. It's the very first Nintendo. It's the very first Nintendo 3D Mario I ever enjoyed.
Yeah, like
confession time. You know that, Crimson, but folks that aren't aware of me will know I am quite the 3D Mario hater until that game.
Yeah, and it's just like the Switch had those strong, and then while Switch was obviously dropping a lot of great stuff, don't get me wrong, we were getting a lot of great games for like, and like even then the innovations never stopped. We got Kirby entering the third dimension, like it was no longer a side scroller. Like Forgotten Land.
Kirby and Forgotten Land was so good. It feels like Kirby finally got home.
Yeah, and like you get
it really does.
Yeah, and you also get like the greatest ending in the franchise where Kirby eats a truck and slams into a primordial god.
Incredible. Well, I mean, have you ever seen Wooly versus like Dark Kirby series? It's fucking fantastic if you haven't.
I'll have to check it out.
He goes into like the Dark Kirby lore. He basically makes Kirby out to be this like dark fucking eldritch god, and it's fucking amazing.
That actually sounds very funny. And what else? Yeah, Metroid finally came back to its roots. Well, you know, it got like a proper new 2D game with Dread, and a lot of people say that's one of the best games in the series, myself included. Xenoblade.
Dread, absolutely. Dread is absolutely one of the best at it. Yeah, it's so good.
And then, like, even with their bigger, that was their bigger title, like Smash Ultimate. Like, the less said about Smash Ultimate, like, nothing really needs to be said about Smash Ultimate. Like, that shit blew everyone's minds when it dropped.
Oh my god, yeah. Smash Ultimate was great because it basically did that thing where it's like, hey, everybody's here. It's the whole everybody's here. I think everybody remembers that trailer.
Yeah, and then it gave, like, the Fighter Pass, and it gave people characters that, like, everyone has wanted for a long time. Like, the fucking insanity of Banjo and Sora from Kingdom Hearts, getting into those, like, pretty much sold those Fighter Passes for everybody. Because those are characters people have wanted since Melee.
Yeah, nobody expected that, did they?
No, like, and then Mario Kart 8. Well, Mario Kart 8 was just like a deluxe release, but basically the booster pass gave it made it feel like a whole new game.
Yeah, I'll tell you what too. That game to me also, like, a lot of people are talking about like the Nintendo Music app or whatever, the app that plays Nintendo Music. Yeah. Everybody's like, well, why didn't Nintendo do this sooner? Well, they did. It's called Smash Ultimate.
Yeah, pretty much.
That game is a boombox too, man.
It's a beautiful boombox. And then one of the strongest aspects, I believe, of the Switch wasn't just that. It was the fact that so many smaller series, like not as big series, really got to shine on the system. Like, for example, Pikmin, like all the Pikmin games are on there. They won like awards at a game festival for 4, right? Which is something I don't think Pikmin has ever done before.
Well, yeah, I mean, you had Pikmin, Luigi's Mansion really shined. What is it? Fire Emblem shined. Fire Emblem
got like 2 super, really well acclaimed games.
Yeah, Xenoblade. We got another Bravely game.
Yeah, like now not everything on the Switch was like perfect. Like the Yoshi games are still really struggling to find their new identity.
Well, like, I'll tell you what I said a long time ago about the Yoshi games, right? And so Yoshi is one of those games where you got to remember what happened. You know, to wind the clock back with what happened with Yoshi. So at the time they were really fucking struggling with the kitty. The Sega does what Nintendo don't. The kitty notation, right?
Right.
And so basically Mario was being painted as lame in comparison to Sonic. Sonic actually outsold Super Mario World. And this set off fucking panic at Nintendo, man. Okay, what the fuck is going on here? And because of that, there was a couple of games that were greenlit to try to counter this narrative. So the main game that Nintendo really put their oomph behind was a little game called Donkey Kong Country. So it was kind of a modern revamp of Donkey Kong in a 2D platformer style. The apes had attitude. They were cool. That kind of thing. And it had this new fancy pre-rendered graphics, right?
Yeah, as someone who just played the Donkey Kong Country for the first ever time recently, that game fucking slaps. Like, if you got time, go play Donkey Kong Country.
Oh, for sure. Donkey Kong Country 2 is like, I swear to God, guys, Donkey Kong Country 2 is peak platforming. If you, especially Donkey Kong Country 2, Donkey Kong Country 3 is great, except fuck Kiddy Kong, right? Other than that, Donkey Kong Country 3 is great, but I just can't see this strange, bizarre little baby man. Like every time he like fucking dies, he goes.
Yeah,
it's this like awful fucking thing, and it makes your ears bleed.
Yeah.
So I don't like Kiddy Kong, but the game is good.
Don't worry.
The game is good.
Don't worry. They took Kiddy Kong out back and assassinated him before 64 dropped.
That's good. That's good. They did exactly what they should have done to that guy. So yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, take him out back and old yeller that son of a bitch.
Yeah, if you get like 200% in Donkey Kong Country 3, you see Donkey Kong drown him in a lake where no one can see him.
Yep, 100%. But anyway, so where was I? Okay, I was old man rambling. But yeah, you gotta wind the clocks back. So they were looking for games that were, so there was two games greenlit. One that was very similar to Sonic in attitude, and the other that was the antithesis in many ways to Sonic the Hedgehog. So one of the stories behind this is Shigeru Miyamoto. He didn't like Donkey Kong Country very much. He didn't like it, and so he decided to take his game, which was his answer to Sonic the Hedgehog, in a very different direction. And one I would argue didn't help Nintendo very much. Okay, and so what he did was it's even more pronounced than Super Mario World. And what I mean by that is Super Mario World already was becoming that kind of safe choice. He wasn't counterculture. He's a plumber. He's got a job. He's safe. He's pudgy. Whereas Sonic had edges. Sonic had attitude. And again, this became a slower and even more methodical game. So Yoshi's Island is not speed. Yoshi's Island is exploring the levels and finding the collectibles. And the thing of it was it was ultimately Donkey Kong that won the console war for Nintendo. Despite the fact that Yoshi actually became the future DNA, being Shigeru Miyamoto's baby, for what the Nintendo experience would be moving forward, which was the collectathon platformer. Yoshi's Island was the origin story of the collectathon. It was just a 2D game, but they took that formula, which is make sure you find all the collectibles, guys. And they took that and they basically made that the Nintendo 64's entire fucking MO. Right?
Yeah, and I loved a lot of those collectathons, but some were just not very fun.
Yes. So what I ended up saying was in response to this, and I'll just read this ending verbatim, right?
Right.
Of my review of Yoshi's Crafted World. And I said Yoshi was given his own game when Nintendo noticed he stole the spotlight from Mario and Super Mario World. That's why it happened. But I've always gotten the feeling that they did not understand what happened. Crafted World has proven to me that they still don't. While Yoshi is by its nature a far better fit for arts and crafts motif than Kirby, there is a difference between having the aesthetic of a baby storybook and being a game for babies. This is a game that lacks any teeth whatsoever. And if you do not get any enjoyment out of investigating and interacting with this world, the platforming and challenge will not be there to catch you when it starts to wear thin.
Yeah.
I said all conflict leads to change, but in order to engage in such a dialectic, you have to actually be in the fight to begin with. Nintendo never gave Yoshi the chance to do this, resulting in a game that that's only challenge comes from overcoming collectathon hard stops, Well, while Donkey Kong, Mario, and Zelda were all frontline fighters in the battle for market share, Yoshi remained the baby of the family, protected from all conflict and relegated to a support role. And while it is a whole lot of fun for the kids and a fantastic first experience for new gamers, anyone who has ever played a platformer before will probably be more impatient than enthralled, wishing that this baby had been allowed to grow up. Yoshi's Crafted World is the epitome of the consequences of coddling a franchise.
Yeah, probably couldn't put it better myself, honestly.
Yep.
Just a
It's
franchise.
it's it's very fun. I mean, when you have another player and you're doing some of it was brilliant. Like when you had like the competitions, like flying through the rings or hitting all the moles as you were on a train. If you have two players competing with each other, it's the fun. It's as fun as that Crafted World game got, right?
Yeah. Speaking
What
of,
I would like to see Yoshi do in, let's say, a Switch 2 outing is to go ahead and keep the exploration and the collectathon and keep the aesthetic. The aesthetic really is good. It matches Yoshi well. But for the love of God, please give that game some fucking challenge like you at least did with Yoshi's Island.
yeah, or like at least add in some challenge levels.
Yes, there has to be. Nintendo has really gotten this wrong in recent years, right? So look at a game like Zelda Breath of the Wild, which started off amazingly. It started off incredibly hard, but by the mid game, the challenge falls apart because you have all the really good goated equipment, you've got more hearts, etc. Now you can control your experience, which is why I still forgive Zelda that criticism, and still rank it as one of the best games I've ever played. But then you look at a game like Super Mario Wonder, which was also piss easy. It was kiddie time, right? And
Right.
there's no way a 2D Mario game should. There's no way you should be able to sleepwalk through a 2D Mario game. If you look at the final stages of Mario World or Super Mario Brothers 3, they were fucking hard, dude. They're fucking hard to this day. That World 8 castle, that mid level mid world castle in Stage 8, or any of like the brigades, the tank brigade, the airship brigade, the battleship brigade, they would kick the shit out of you, man.
Yeah, I played like I actually did that like about a year ago using the Nintendo Online stuff. I played through all the 2D Mario's I hadn't played, and they're great. They're way more challenging than I expected them to be.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah. 3D Mario, the first four 2D Mario games are a fucking joy. All four of them. They're a fucking joy.
Yeah, I'd still say
Um
my favorite is World, but I absolutely like it's almost completely beaten out by three.
I like 3. Yeah, I like 3. And I would argue 3 is the better game. Just and here will be my argument to you. I could see an argument for either one, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what I will say in regards to Mario Brothers 3 in particular is that was an 8-bit game. Super Mario World is a 16-bit game. Why are we even having this fucking discussion? And that shows you, in a way, how weak Super Mario World was. There should be no discussion on this topic. Super Mario World should blow the fucking balls off of Super Mario Brothers 3, and it doesn't. And I will argue that is part of the reason. Not that Mario World isn't an all-time classic, an all-time GOAT, an all-time banger, but it wasn't good enough, and that's partially why it lost to Sonic. It wasn't the revolutionary leap that Super Mario Brothers 3 was over Super Mario Brothers 2 and 1. It just
Yeah,
wasn't.
well, I totally get that. Like, for example, like Mega Man X. If you were to compare that to any of the other like NES Mega Mans, I genuinely think X just blows it out of the fucking water. All of them
Yeah,
combined.
X is another game that's all-time one of the best games ever
It
made.
is
Mega Man X.
probably my one of, if not very close to my favorite game of all time. Like I could play
It
that
should
shit
be, yeah. Good pick.
religiously.
That's a good pick. There's so much to love about that game. It's not only the fact that it's got the new mature story. It's the fact that like when you do one level, it can literally change the experience in another level. Like if you take out the power plant, now all of a sudden there's another level that is iced over because there's
Yeah,
no
that's
power. Or you
that's
take
what's
out the
like if
so cool.
like if you take out the Chill Penguin base before fighting Flame Mammoth, basically you don't have to deal with any of the lava.
Yeah, it just really, really cool mechanics in that game.
Yeah, that was like a one in a million kind of title. Like it's genre defined. It's so easy to see why even now people consider it like cream of the crop of Mega Man games.
Also, the double jump and the dash. The dash actually made boss fights fun.
Oh yeah, the dash was awesome.
Like,
The
yeah,
dash just
it gave you maneuverability instead of it just being like a fucking spam the A button fight.
yeah, like the insanity of like certain like exploring areas in general with like the wall jumping and the dash mixed just made that shit so fun.
Oh, it's really good.
I'd still argue Mega Man Zero is the best Mega Man X has ever been, but that's solely just because you get anime weeaboo swords.
Oh, that excites me too because I've got the Zero collection too.
Yeah, the Zero
Switch.
collection,
I
while
never,
there's some Mega Man like long range fighting, it is 100% way more like, no, the best way to do damage is to just go straight the fuck in with your sword.
that's cool as shit.
Because you're just
And that's got
slicing
me
robots
excited.
apart, and you watch them slowly split apart, anime weeb style. It's awesome. Like,
Okay.
I could dick suck that
Is
those
it one of
games.
those games too? Isn't there like a game, one of those games that's almost like a Metroidvania? Which I don't. By the way, speaking of Metroidvanias, why don't we have Symphony of the Night on Switch yet?
You're gonna have to ask Konami on that one. For some reason,
I
they've
don't ask Konami shit because they're fucking remedial. They're terrible.
because for some
But
reason they've only released it on PlayStation.
that's so weird. Guys, I'm just telling you, if you want to very quickly make like tens of millions of dollars for no effort whatsoever, Symphony of the Night on a cart. There's a couple games that are still missing from the Switch library. We're missing Symphony of the Night. We're missing Chrono Trigger.
Yeah,
We're
that's
missing.
very weird. We have not gotten a Chrono Trigger release on Steam on like
Yep,
Switch. Even as like a digital
we're
download,
missing
it's not
that.
on there.
David Vink put out a great post. He pretty much hit on the last four great games that we're missing in terms of what we're missing. Terra Enigma, which is something a lot of people don't know about. Missing Terra Enigma. We're missing Chrono Trigger. We're missing Lufia 2. That's a huge one. And I forget the fourth one. I think it was Breath of Fire 2.
I still need to play the Breath of Fire games. I hear nothing but good things. Those and
Breath
Wild
of Fire 2.
Arms.
Yeah, Breath of Fire 1's okay. Breath of Fire 2 is awesome.
I've heard 3 and 4 are like really good as well.
Yeah, I never got to play those because those were PlayStation, and I was pretty much on PC at that. But yeah, as far as I think we're missing Mass Effect on the Switch. We're missing Chrono Trigger. We're missing Deus Ex. We need Deus Ex. I would like to see Dishonored get on there before it goes. And we're missing Grand Theft Auto 5. In terms of just your all-time GOAT games.
Yeah. I wonder if they're going to do a GTA 5 port to the Switch too. I wouldn't be surprised, but...
Probably not. So there's a few reasons for that. Why I would suspect we're never seeing that game. Number one is the business reason. They're making so much money with Grand Theft Auto Online, they don't have to really fuck with ports and bother with ports. They just don't care, right?
Right.
Because the money maker on that is Grand Theft Auto Online, which is still just massive. Yeah.
It's their Final Fantasy 14, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, the second reason we'll never see it is kind of the history of it. So it's one of the things me and OJ have been going back and forth on for a long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
By the way, he was streaming tonight. That's what happened.
Unfortunately, it would have been nice to have him on, but you know,
it would have been. But he's not close to it. What you got to do though, Crimson, you've got to do it in advance. So you got to just say, hey, I'd love for you to come on and talk to me, and just you'll have to work out a later time, and then he can work his stream schedule around. That's what he always does with me, right?
Right.
He's totally down for it. You got to catch him when he hasn't already got a stream pre-planned. But yeah, he would have been awesome. It would have been awesome on here, and I think you guys would get along great. Anyway, I digress.
I don't know. He's a filthy Naruto fan, and I'm a One Piece elitist, so.
Oh God, I gotta see that debate. Oh, now I'm absolutely setting that up.
Fuck, if
I gotta drag
set that up date and time, I will go to
war.
war.
We're gonna resummon Liquored Up Live to do this. We're gonna do.
Get him on there. I will go to war that I like One Piece is better than Naruto. Like.
I don't know dick shit about any of them. I know more about One Piece than Naruto.
Good, so you're immediately on my side.
I don't know. I've never watched a single episode of Naruto, and he never lets me live it down when it comes up.
I do say watch it. It's very good. It has some of like the best. It has some really good writing. But again, I'm One Piece elitist here. I still think One Piece is better.
It's kind of hard to argue with One Piece in terms of world building from where I'm sitting.
Yes,
maybe Naruto does that as good, but oh my God, what are the odds of there being two anime that literally revolutionized world building and nothing even comes close to them. What are the odds of that, right?
I'll say this right now. I think Naruto is like really strong with its characters and animation. Like, I do not think it is the best with world building.
Okay, yeah, and that's important to me. See,
It does a
anyway,
decent. It does a decent job. Yeah, but like,
so so one of the things I go back and forth on because again I'm a long time Nintendo history buff
mm-hmm.
is their really atrocious relationship with third party publishers, right? That's something that Rockstar is not immune to this. So let me enthrall you with the tale if we've got time. We do.
Tell
right?
me the story, Uncle. Switch.
Okay. Okay. So long time ago, there's a company called DMA Designs.
Mm-hmm.
And they were a major partner for them through the Super Nintendo and the N64 era. Okay.
Okay.
So the game they made for Nintendo on the Super Nintendo was a game called Uniracers. And Uniracers was a unicycle racing game. They ended up getting sued by Pixar.
Oh boy.
Because Pixar did a short film with a unicycle, and therefore, a company like Disney, almost as litigious as Nintendo, decided, hey, since we did a short about a red unicycle, we own all unicycles. And Nintendo didn't really defend that case, even though they probably could have. So DMA Design spent all this time publishing a game with the specific task of being faster than Sonic, and it was. It was really good. It put blast processing to the sword. But the game had to be pulled from all shelves and couldn't be sold because of the capitulation on that lawsuit, costing DMA Designs a lot of money and having to lay people off and all that shit, right?
Right.
Okay, so now we get to the Nintendo 64.
Mm-hmm.
They develop a quasi-open world game that features a lone space marine battling insectoid aliens for the future of Earth called Body Harvest.
Oh.
This is a game where you can run around and you can shoot people and you can shoot aliens and you can destroy houses and you can drive tanks, planes, and vehicles. Does that sound familiar to you yet, Crimson?
Oh yeah, I'm putting my finger on it, but
Uh-huh. So Body Harvest was a game that was, because it was a mature game, Nintendo put no marketing budget toward their game.
oh, I'm starting to see where this is going.
Yep, so the next time DMA Design, so they broke off their partnership with Nintendo, rebranded as Rockstar North, and the next game they put out was a little game on the PlayStation, a little known game called Grand Theft Auto.
Man, imagine having such a bad relationship. Like, imagine having a breakup so really bad you make one of the most influential franchises of all time.
Yep. That's a very Nintendo story. It's a very Nintendo story.
Didn't the same thing happen with, like, Square? Like, after, like, Super Mario RPG, they broke off because, like, they couldn't make... No. It was because they wanted to put, like, something on... They wanted to put 7 on the N64. And, like,
but they wanted a disc drive on the N64, and Nintendo said, no, we're sticking with cartridges. And so they said, okay. And by the way, Yamauchi took that really personally when the Square executive informed him they were going to PlayStation. He told him, best of luck, don't ever come back. The exact words.
That's fun. Oh, man. Crazy how that didn't work.
Yep. Best of luck, don't ever come back. And the result was Final Fantasy VII, which was a game that was in development for Nintendo systems. It was in development for Nintendo systems.
Yeah, there's I believe there's a Space World demo you can see of it, how it looked on the N64.
Uh-huh. So I'm not saying it's all the third-party publisher's fault, but some of it is. Like, if you go back to the NES, Trip Hawkins literally had to be threatened with being fired by his own board of directors. You either make a Nintendo game, because the system's selling well, or we'll fire you, and we'll put someone who will make Nintendo games. Like, from the entire time, and part of that stems from Nintendo. People have to understand that 1983 was the year the game industry crashed. And because of that, Nintendo was having to fight back from that North American games industry crash. And so they implemented policies that a lot of the third-party publishers, whether it's Konami or whether it's Capcom or Activision or EA, they thought Nintendo was draconian and unfair and monopolistic. And one of the reasons they hated Nintendo is Nintendo implemented a 5-game rule for everybody but Nintendo. Nintendo, it's their system. They can make as many games as they want. Every third-party publisher, you got 5 games. You got 5 games a year. Make them count. Now, the reason they did that is specifically because the games industry crash was caused by these same lazy loser fucking third-party companies dumping 1 million fucking trash games onto the Atari every year.
So that's why.
That's what happened.
So that's how the crash happened. I always thought it was just like the surplus of consoles.
Yes. It was that because the surplus of consoles came when people stopped buying them because of trash like ET. Became infamous, right? But it wasn't just ET. That's just the most infamous story. They were dumping so much video game software on those systems, so much. It wasn't just ET filling landfills, man.
Yeah, I know.
It was just a dump fest.
There was a great video by Actman. You've seen Actman, right?
Oh God, yeah, Actman's great.
He made an old video called like Dead Consoles, and there's like a ton of them were just like, some were like Kickstarter projects, some were like really old consoles that just couldn't do anything. Like, it's such a fascinating video to see how many consoles were just crashed and burned back in the day due to.
And I'm glad you bring that up. It's still happening, by the way. We just had the fucking Google Stadium. Everybody remember that fucking disaster?
I don't consider the Google Stadia any sort of console. It's just
no, neither does anybody worth their salt, but they do. They did. And that's my point is when everybody says that like the Switch 2 is going to be an absolute guaranteed success, I'm inclined to agree that it's going to do okay, but I also point to the graveyard of video game consoles. Video game consoles are a tough business. If it wasn't, there would be more successes and not as many failures.
Yeah, like again,
it turns out there's very few that actually succeed. Very few.
At most, some just do okay. Like 3DS, for example. Like, that thing had a horrible start, but at the very least, it was able to do somewhat decently. Like, it didn't do great, obviously. But
that was a burning platform early on, and they literally had to ditch the 3D.
Yeah, which is a shame, because I think that's a cool idea. Like, 3D without the glasses. I think that's a cool concept.
It was a really, and I tell people all the time, I actually respect what they were trying to do with that. And you have to look at the market at the time. At the time, the big push was the big new and tasty, if you will. If anybody who gets that reference, if you know, you know. The new and tasty was 3D televisions. And so Nintendo's like, yeah, we want to do 3D. We've always had this sick 3D obsession. Since the N64, we've had the sick 3D obsession. But we really don't want to funnel our customers into a rival company that we hate, which is Sony, because Sony was the ones really, really marketing the 3D televisions at the time. So the question became, how do we do that without also selling a Sony television, right?
Right.
And they managed to do it, man. They managed to do it.
Yeah. Didn't sell well. It didn't sell like super great, but they managed to do it, which is.
But people can understand Nintendo, which is traditionally, historically, especially under Iwata, became a company looking for that blue ocean and that disruptive innovator. That was what they did. They were a disruptive company at the time. They were trying to disrupt the 3D industry. Now, the error they made, the unforced error Nintendo made, was actually the same unforced error that Sony made. And that is that the 3D televisions were never going to sell. 3D gaming was never going to fucking take off. VR is never going to fucking take off. You know why? Because you look like a fucking dork with those glasses on. You look like a fucking nerd with the headset on. Your wife is embarrassed when her friends come over and see you dorking up the fucking living room with the VR headset on.
But she's I can play Doom in VR.
And if the wife's not down with it, then you're not getting it. That's what happened to VR, and it's what happened to 3D. What happened?
You heard it here first, folks. VR gets you 0 bitches.
Yeah, VR gets like it's cringe. It's fucking cringe.
I kind of like the idea of some VR games.
Rip the fucking headset off my head if she came over and she saw me sitting there dorking up her fucking living room space with a fucking VR video game headset.
I like
Like,
the
what in
idea.
the
I like the idea of VR, like certain, like being able to like fully interact with games. I think that's a cool concept, but like it just looks very lame.
it's very cool, but it's going to get a wife or girlfriend veto. That's the point. Women don't like VR. Like flat out. Like your non gaming spouse or girlfriend is not going to tolerate that. If you have kids, you literally can't do it. You literally can't.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if you have kids and she has to watch those kids while you're sitting there dorking up the living room, it's not happening, fellas. I'm sorry, it's not happening. You have a much more patient and permissive girlfriend than I, if that's allowed. Like, there's no way. You're fucking helping with these kids too, man.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, it's just it's again it's there are certain things where wives and girlfriends hold the keys to the kingdom. Your partner holds the keys to the kingdom, and that's one of them, man.
Look, I just need
If
a
they're not
girl
on,
who's into trails,
it ain't
bro.
happening. What's that, huh?
I just need a girl who's into having the intricate, deep discussions of if Terra or Cells was the main character of Final Fantasy VI.
Well, the chat answer on Final Fantasy VI is there is no main character; it's an ensemble.
The chat answer is Sabin for all of his glorious muscles. Thank you very much.
Okay, snapping. Yeah, I mean, suplexing a train. What a feat.
You can never get past. I love that they kept that. Wasn't that because of like a programming error and they just kept it in because everyone loved it?
Yes. And then they took it out. At one point in the Pixel remasters, it was out,
Oh, those bastards.
and the footage got caught, and it went right back in. It went right back in.
Good. Like you don't erase.
Like the train, like, you could still suplex the train, but it didn't go upside down.
See, like
And it's
that's
like,
the
nope.
thing. That's the thing. A lot of devs need to remember when they do remasters and remakes. You got to let us keep the goofy stuff in. That's one of the things that I think helped the Oblivion remaster sell as much as it did.
It gives. I'll tell you what it does. It gives gaming mystique, and mystique is cool.
It's just charming. Like,
Yeah.
Like I don't need like yeah remake Super Mario 64, but like let me have the ability to like do all the goofy shit I could do in that game when you remake it. Like that's what made that game
Yeah.
fun for me was the stupid shit you could pull. Like, hey, here's me moving in 5 directions and I broke the game and took a star. Like that shit's fun. Like
It's great. Yeah. It's again, video game developers, I feel like they often get things confused about why we're here. They think that we're here to experience their story. I'm not.
we're here to have
Not here for
fun.
your story. I'm here to tell my story in your sandbox. So the games that let me do that are the games that I really gravitate to.
yeah,
Please don't get in the way of my story with your story. Fuck your story.
exactly.
Fuck your story. I don't care about your story. I care about the story that me and my characters are telling. And you can either make that work or you can get in the fucking way. And if you get in the way, the game's going to be less successful.
As Titus once said, this is my story.
Absolutely. Yeah, Titus is full of great quotes. There's also
Yeah, that one's great. Like that if they
My
ever
favorite.
remake 10, that better stay in there. Like I need it as corny as possible.
I've shown you the laugh mod, right?
Yes, you have.
Okay. I just want to make sure. It's so good. Now I've actually come to respect that moment, and it's kind of a bittersweet moment now.
Yeah, it is. It's very much him like coming to accept like a lot of the like a thing about Titus that I really like is he starts out kind of just like this dude, and like he has to slowly grow to understand. Yeah, I'm never getting back to Xanarkin.
Yeah.
And I'm fighting something that might be my dad. So like I kind of have to accept the fact that I've got a pretty fucked life ahead of me. Just got to make the most of it.
Sure. I've played a little bit of 10 now, and I got to tell you, it's a little linear for my taste. They do a much better job of hiding it than 13 does.
Yeah, that's the strength of 10. Like it's much easier. Like as you go in further, 10 is very linear. I won't deny that, but it does a lot of really fun stuff. Like when you get to the wild camp, like there's a lot of cool like hidden weapons you can find. There's some extra dungeons. It's very smart about its linearity.
Exactly. Yeah. No, there's optional content. It doesn't feel on rails. And I really like the characters, except Waka. Like, I don't know. Waka seems to be...
You don't like Final Fantasy's greatest racist?
Waka is really racist. That's a good way to fucking.
That's the funniest aspect about him. Is just he's like he's just a giant racist. Like
Unapologetic. Like,
all unlike them filthy albeds, eh?
yeah, like, yeah, well, it's great, buddy. I'm glad you joined the party on the way from the Klan rally.
Yeah. Waka,
Shit.
I don't want to hear great about how great like Hitler was. All right, hey man, he didn't like them dirty albeds either.
Yeah, hey, hey, he was he was a vegetarian, right?
Right, unlike them filthy albeds.
I don't care. I don't care. He fucking murdered 12 million people, asshole.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Yeah, but he loved animals, you know.
Right.
It's funny. Don't worry, Waka gets a lot better. Like again, a big aspect of his arc is getting over that.
Okay, because I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, a big aspect about Waka is you kind of learn,
man.
as the story goes on, you learn very much why he's so against the Albats. It's a pretty fair reason. Like,
yeah, I guess.
Like it's clearly not okay. The story very much shows like, yeah, this guy is very much not in the right for thinking this way.
Justify it, right? Okay. Kind of like Logain, like if you've ever played Dragon Age Origins, like Logain and the Orlesians.
I've actually never played a Dragon Age game.
Okay, so I'll give you a little bit of down low on Logain. So, Aaron Logain is one of the two governors that serves under the king in Ferelden.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a blight that happens, and he's the lead general and tactician of King Kaelin. Now, he was best friends with Kaelin's dad when he was king, right?
Right.
And they fought a war against a kingdom called Orlais together. And basically freed Ferelden and gained Ferelden independence. But because of this, like, Logain hates Orlais. He hates them because of all the brutality they did to the Ferelden people. And what ends up happening is King Kaelin, because there's a blight, King Kaelin is a kid. He's like a 22-year-old kid, basically. And he doesn't have any of the baggage that the older generation has towards Orlais. And so he asked for some Grey Wardens to show up from Orlais to support his war effort. And Logain basically loses his fucking mind. And in the middle of the fucking battle, he literally turns his forces and walks away and leaves the king to die.
That's crazy.
Now, he thought he was doing the right thing. Because he said that he didn't believe in the blight. He didn't think it was the big threat it was. He thought that the real threat was Orlais because he could not get past his baggage with this other country. And he thought that he was preserving Ferelden independence, whereas King Kaelin was ushering in enslavement. But what he did was so fucking bad, and I mean so bad, it nearly doomed the entire world. Because turns out the blight was the real threat.
Jesus.
And this was a full-scale blight. And the Archdemon is here.
I gotta play the Dragon Age games at some point. Like, they sound fucking
cool.
Cool.
Through this game, he eventually comes to terms with what he's done. And you get to make a choice later. And I won't spoil the whole thing, but that's just the setup of the villain. And that's all in the game's promotional, so I haven't spoiled anything. But yeah, the reason Logain does that, though, is because he's super fucking racist against Orlesians. And he cannot understand why they're being invited into this kingdom that they just liberated this kingdom from these people. And it's like, because there's a fucking blight, dude.
Nah, you're just wrong. So he'd be the kind of guy who buys a blue check mark to just troll people then?
Yeah, well, I mean, far more deadly than that, but kinda, yeah. Like,
alrighty.
Yeah, he's the guy that is yelling about, like, Orlesian fatigue on every fucking post, and you gotta block him because he's annoying. Like, that's Logain.
He's the guy who goes under. He's the guy who goes under every like movie trailer on Twitter and just writes like, "Oh, this diversity."
That's Logain. Yeah. Yeah. Why does there have to be an Orlesian in every film?
Yeah, I thought we were. Why don't we get real actors?
We just liberated ourselves. Nobody cares, dude.
And
please get.
Yeah. By the way, like, also going back to our discussion about the Switch 2 earlier, like, if you were to pick a like game that should come out on the system that you think would guarantee a sell, what do you think they should like? What IP do you think they should focus on?
Oh, before I would have said 2D Mario, but Wonder kind of flopped kind of hard, didn't it?
Yeah, I still think that should have been a Switch 2 release.
I think it would have been. I think it would have done better as a Switch 2 release, but I don't know. I think that I will always be a 2D Mario fan. I will always be a 2D Mario fan. But even I have to recognize when a game is not pulling its fucking weight anymore. And Mario Wonder didn't do it, and Odyssey did.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
I loved both, but I'll be real. I played Wonder way. I haven't replayed Odyssey in a bit, but like I remember so much more from Odyssey than I do Wonder.
Well, yeah, and that's the problem with Wonder, man. Like
Like
Wonder,
Wonder has great experiences. I think there's a lot of goofy stuff with the seeds, but I don't really think a whole lot of stuff sticks with you as a result. Like I'm happy that
yeah,
Nintendo
it's
was
it's
like
tough.
I'm happy like hearing the dev story. I like that Nintendo was like, hey, just do whatever you guys want. Like
Yeah, but that type of creativity also has its limitations too. Like 6 years they spent on that fucking game. It doesn't feel like it. It should have been harder. And here's the thing, like, I like the Flower Kingdom. I like the fact that Bowser's on the attack. I like the fact that he feels dangerous. I like that it's an expansion of the Mushroom Kingdom we haven't had since literally like Isle Delfino and Sunshine. It's really
I'm
cool.
still
So it actually expands the Mushroom Kingdom into this new place, the Flower Kingdom.
little
I love
off
all that.
little off track here, but I am so sad that Delfino Plaza never became like DLC for Odyssey.
It was an absolute that was a uh, that was a missed opportunity, and it was an obvious missed opportunity.
Imagine like a $20 DLC and you got Delfino Isle and all the areas you could go to. Like you could travel to all of them using the cannons.
It fits so well. It would fit so well with Odyssey's whole travel the Mushroom Kingdom motif.
Yeah, I want to check something. Mario Odyssey Isle Delfino mod.
Oh, everybody was screaming. We didn't
Yeah,
get that. We got photo mode.
somebody made an Isle Delfino mod for the game.
That's really cool. God damn those PC fuckers.
Yeah, full on. Yeah, it's. Did it ever get finished? I don't. It looks like it kind of did. I think they're still working on it.
That's awesome. That kind of makes me want to play Odyssey on the PC.
Yeah, that's
And
one.
Nintendo, if you're listening, fuck you. I own the game. I bought the game twice. Fuck off.
Yeah, we bought the
Like,
game. It's fine. Like
I
now,
haven't.
if you
I have.
release like
I
Odyssey
bought it twice
2,
because I bought it. I gave my first copy to my brother-in-law because Harrison, my nephew, really got into Mario.
smart.
So I gave it to my brother-in-law so they could play it together, and then I bought it again. So I bought it twice. You can fuck yourselves. If I want to play Mario Odyssey on my PC, I will fucking play Mario Odyssey on my PC.
Yeah, one thing I love about PC is like all of the fan ROM hack. Like I'm waiting for the day like they find a way to dump the assets from Odyssey like they did with Sunshine, because Sunshine got like a whole ass ROM hack called Eclipse. Ooh, hey DJ, how you doing?
DJ, what's going on, homie?
Yeah, DJ Easy Breezy, I subbed. You did? Hold on, sorry about that. Did the sub not go off? Let me check. Sorry about this, Switch. Just want to check.
No, that's okay. We can make some mouth noises, and we can do like a bling or whatever sound it makes.
I gotta make my own like sub sound. You got gift. Oh, you got gifted one. Okay, never mind. I thought you gave a sub today.
Great. Congratulations. Welcome in, man.
Yeah, hey DJ.
So why do you think that I can't get off the fucking Elder Scrolls 3 mark for 25 years?
Because like modders just create these great experiences. Hi, Ghost PFB. This is my buddy flipping the switch.
What's going on, man? Yeah, Tamriel Rebuilt just put out Grasping Fortune. Literally, it's 2/3 of Vardenfell in one game. What's going on? What's going on, Breezy? But literally, it's better than the vanilla game that was made 25 years ago. It's better content. It's lore friendly, and it basically introduces the entire city of Narcissus and the region of Ship-Al Shin, which is an entire new biome region, over 200 quests, expands House Halalu substantially. This is all being done by modders, man. This is one of the advantages of PC gaming.
Yeah, like
I'm not a big
Bethesda...
PC gaming on everything, but when it comes to games with mods, PC is the way to go.
Yeah, like Bethesda and especially like Elder Scrolls modders are like on a different fucking level, man. Like,
Well, that's because until this new game, which apparently they're not going to do it this time, they don't just release the game; they release the actual development tools with the game. Here you go,
oh, I
guys.
never knew that. That's actually really cool.
It's called the construction kit or the the Garden of Eden creation kit in Fallout. Yeah, they give you the tools. They give here's the same development tools we used. Have fun.
That's actually rad. Because yeah,
So
like
the only real roadblock is asset development, and thanks to thanks to advances in things like Blender, now that's firing on full cylinders. Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind will have the entire nation of Morrowind finished probably over the next 5 years. We'll have a complete Morrowind
that's kind of crazy. Like, yeah, that's what I love about like mod projects, because Mario, like, they do a lot of mod projects with Mario, because like one of the best is like 64, because 64 has had like mods for years at this point.
Right.
And people have just built whole ass new games. Like a dude built one called Last Impact, and it not only like rebuilt like every level is new, but it added in like I think 10 new power-ups and multiple new boss fights.
I'll give you that. I bet Mario 64's modding community is a rabbit hole.
Dude, these people are making whole ass sequels of like 120 stars. It's crazy. Like, Mario fans, when they want to make a game, they will take those assets and turn it into a whole fucking game.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's also been happening with Zelda, because like, you know that big Nintendo leak that happened a while back?
Yeah.
Like, apparently the stuff for like the N64 of like the Zelda games leaked, so people have now been making Zelda fan games.
Wait.
And somebody,
I'm all for it. All for it.
And somebody basically made like a part 3. You know, the N64 had like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask?
Uh-huh.
Somebody is making like a third entry in that saga, and it's like it's like a darker entry, and the coolest aspect is like your actions in that game will actually affect the narrative.
That's super cool.
Like, there's a moment where you meet this like spirit where you need to take her sword, and like the one rule is like, hey, don't attack or kill her. And like, you can keep the sword. And if you kill the spirit, you actually lose out on being able to buy stuff at the store, and everybody changes how they treat you, because you basically stabbed him in the back.
Incredible. It's one of the things I love about Morrowind. Like, Morrowind's the only Elder Scrolls game that lets you kill your quest givers, and yeah, you can do it, but okay, well, now you have to do the weird back path in order to finish the game now because you killed the quest giver.
Yeah,
but it won't just knock him out and he gets back up. No, you can kill your quest givers and just not do those quests anymore.
Yeah, that kind of shit's always just so cool to me, where you can just actively change the entire the narrative of something through your own actions.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because basically you have to do the back path. If you sever the prophecy, is basically how it turns out. It's like, oh, you severed the prophecy, so reload your adventure or persist in this doomed world you have created. It literally gives you that message.
Yeah, one thing I like it kind of reminds me of something like Undertale. You've played Undertale, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Undertale's great.
Like how your own actions completely change the entire narrative. Like, if you decide to
I'm playing another one like that right now, by the way. It's called Look Outside.
Ooh, Look Outside, eh?
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were about to say
I'm gonna play it on stream tomorrow night. It's it's a game. So basically, you wake up and your neighbor is like, "Hey, you should really look outside. It's beautiful." And she's like, "Oh wait, no, my head's all fucked up. Don't look outside. It's really bad." And you can look outside, and if you look outside, like literally, you get sucked into like the fucking sky through your eyeballs, like your your eyeballs, and your game is over. Game over. End.
Damn.
So the game's. Or you could not look outside, and so basically, you've got to survive 15 days in this apartment complex. This apartment complex that is literally overrun with your neighbors who have looked outside and have become something else because of whatever is happening out there. And there are so many variations of runs I've already done that I just cannot fucking believe. Like, so for example, like, you can try to figure out what's going on by working with people in the apartment and doing their storylines and stuff. But you don't have to do any of that. You can sit in your apartment, go out, scavenge for food and medicine. come back, play video games, or water your plant, or listen to music, and you can literally just spend the whole 15 days burning time in your apartment and occasionally coming out to eat.
Interesting.
And you get a different ending. You get a totally different ending. Or it's like, okay, well, the anomaly's gone, but the world has been forever changed. Here's how. Like, congratulations, you waited out the 15 days. Now enjoy the world. Enjoy what the world is now. You get that ending. But you can actually impact the event or at least discover more about it if you do different branching missions and different events that happen during those 15 days. It's got what I describe as kind of a Dead Rising time limit, except the time only advances when you explore new areas or waste time in your apartment. So you actually have more control over it than you had with Dead Rising.
Interesting.
Very cool. It's very cool. Yeah, it's like my new favorite game right now.
Nice. One game I really want to get is Deltarune. Like,
I'm waiting for it to be finished, but apparently it has all the makings of like an all-time banger, and basically it's like Undertale Part 2 all taken together.
Yeah, it's playing around. Like, from some of the stuff I've seen, like, first of all, like, obviously the music is fantastic. Toby Fox knows what he's fucking doing with the soundtrack.
Of course.
And, like, all of the clips I've seen of it just, like, look insane. Like, this really looks like the next evolution of, like, his style of game. And it's got me... Because I played the first chapter when it was free, and it still kind of is. The demo, I believe, is still, like, free. And, like...
Well, and iPad Wolf's a big fan of it, too. He says it's insane. He says Part 4 is nuts.
Yeah, I've only played up to Part 2, but, like, all I've played, it really feels amazing. I'm definitely going to, like, get it one of these days and probably stream it.
Well, when it's complete on cart, I'll absolutely be adding it to the collection. You know it's going to be complete on cart. You know Fangamer is going to pick that shit up in half a minute.
Yeah, and, like, the main thing I love is, like, Toby Fox's gameplay is always... You know me, I'm a huge gameplay guy. I love the gameplay of Deltarune. I love the concept of just, like, you like, move around the attack box and dodge stuff. That's such a cool concept.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's another way to do active RPG, right?
Yeah.
So, like, take Undertale, which I have experience with, and it's like, hey, what if we had JRPG mechanics, but it was also a bullet hell, right?
Yeah, like, what if it was
like
Yeah, like, what if we put, like, a bunch of mini games in between each fight for you to memorize?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, great fucking shit. Really, really good shit. So, and keep in mind that the indies are going to keep the Switch alive. I think the Switch has a lot more life in it. Like, I always joke to people that it's like 33 games and I'm gone. Well, that was 31 games a few weeks ago, and before that it was 28 games. And so, I don't know. I keep touting my gaming retirement, Crimson, but I don't know how true that is because I kind of have a feeling that the Nintendo Switch 1 is going to go for a long time still.
They're definitely going to keep going. Like, Switch, like, they're not going to abandon... let's be real, they'd be stupid to abandon a 100+ million user base.
Yeah, almost 153, I think, right now.
Yeah, and plus they can easily use that as just, like... Because one thing people have pointed out, one of the stronger aspects of the Switch 2 is, like, the people who skipped the Switch 1 and are buying the Switch 2... now have a bunch of games they can play that are just, like, getting these free upgrades.
Well, that's what I was doing right before we started this podcast. I was looking, because OJ and now Rush Dog had me curious. Rush Dog told me apparently Batsugun and Dodonpachi have no input lag on the Switch 2.
Yeah,
I gotta tell you, buddy, that's more of a system seller than any of this new shit they're putting.
Yeah, one of the things about the Switch 2 is, like, it's able to take, like... Well, mainly it runs games at, like, a locked 30 for a lot of them. Like, this time just completely smooth, consistent 30. If your game has...
But if they're uncapped, it goes up to 60, yeah.
Yeah, like, it basically... The system brute forces it to 60. So, like, you get shit like Bayonetta 3 and Astral Chain at 60 FPS, I believe.
And that's fuck, but I guess here's my question is, what does that do to the battery life? Because my understanding is the Switch 2 already has shittier battery life.
From what I understand, it doesn't really drain the battery all that much. Like, it just basically...
Does the brute force doesn't drain it?
Like, I think it's... I don't know what's in it. Like, again, I don't know. Like, again, I'll have to get my hands on the system myself to figure it out.
Sure.
But I haven't really heard any complaints about it tearing through the battery.
Okay, that would be my only question, because it's like, on one hand, that's really cool. On the other hand, if my battery drains faster playing Bayonetta 3, I don't know. I don't know if I'd take that trade-off, to be honest with you. See, that's the thing, and I try to explain this to Player Essence, and I try to explain this to other Nintendo fans, right? It's like everybody everybody likes to claim like we were hollering for this new Switch 2 that does all this stuff. And I guess I'm the only motherfucker over here that's like, I bought the Switch I actually signed on the dotted line and I read the fine print and I understand that I'm buying a handheld hybrid console and
Mm-hmm.
that things aren't always going to play as well as say a stationary console that doesn't require a fucking battery life. This is the trade-in that we agreed to and made when we bought a Nintendo Switch. And so the counter to that is okay, but now you don't have to. I don't know, do I? I hear that the battery life is marginally worse on Switch 2 than it is on Switch 1. I would say that's a trade off and not necessarily the good trade off. I don't know if I would trade an average of 2 hours of battery life for an extra 20 frames per second or for a game to run a little bit. I don't know if I'd do that, man.
That's the
And
thing you're going to
it's,
get with I think the one thing you're going to get with a lot of people right now, because we're still in the honeymoon phase of the Switch 2.
uh huh.
So I'd say like maybe wait, because right now we're just hearing about all the cool things the Switch 2 is doing. Like it runs games at 60 FPS. All these new games look amazing. They play very
Yeah,
well.
I want to hear about the battery life. That's what I want to hear about.
Yeah, you're
And
probably
that's
going to.
probably why honestly I'll wait for a revision because when we got the revision last time, the Switch's battery life shot up, man. And so that's kind of what I'm waiting on. The battery life it's the whole story to me, man.
Yeah, so
It
I'm.
doesn't do me a goddamn fucking bit of good to play these new fancy fuck you games if my battery life drops to 2 hours. I can only get 2 hours. That's not a portable system. Then. What's the point?
Yeah, that's going to be the biggest thing. I'm thinking about maybe, I'd say like maybe a month later or so. Probably around the time when Bonanza comes out is when people are really going to start being like more like the honeymoon phase is going to wear off.
Yeah, wait a second. This game looks really nice. What? I only get two battery? I only get 2 hours? What?
Yeah, like again, Mario Kart World is an easy game to like ignore the battery life on because it's always just like you're not. That's not a game a lot of people play for like hours on
Yeah,
end.
but Cyberpunk, it's like 2 hours, bro.
Like Donkey
Like
Kong
two
Bonanza is going to
hours.
be very much, I think, the game that really pushes the concept of how much this battery chugs.
Yeah. And again, I trust. I actually think we already have it, and that's Cyberpunk. CD Projekt Red optimizes. They optimize as well as Nintendo. They really do. And the result is 2 hours of battery life on that son of a bitch. Like, oof.
Yeah, my biggest
I'd
question.
also be curious to see what the Zelda with upgrades gets. How many hours? Because on I can pull 4 to 5 hours on my Switch OLED with Zelda. What do I get on Switch 2? These are important questions for me because again, the reason I even get a Switch is portability.
Yeah, it's going to be a.
If I can't get my portability, what's the point?
Yeah, that's very much going to be, I think, the determining factor because a lot of people like, for example, like I said with Mario Kart World, it's a game to very much easily play docked. Something like Odyssey, I think something like Bonanza is going to be something people take on the go a lot more, and that's going to be what judges it.
Yeah. Uh huh.
Like Bonanza, or if we got like I remember a joke I saw a long time ago, like when the Switch 2 just came out. I was like, so do you guys think they're going to remake Mario 64 on this system? And it's just like, like if that came out, that would actually be the perfect litmus test because that was what they used. That was like the perfect like test for the DS because they made a 64 remake with that.
Yeah. If it were me, to go back to our original question, if it were me, I would be getting a mainline Zelda out as soon as fucking possible, man.
Yeah, it's that's definitely gonna be. I think we're gonna either see that or a new 3D Mario around holiday season.
Either one. Either one.
Because
I'm still hesitant on 3D Mario, despite the success of Odyssey, because again, what I will tell people is yes, Odyssey absolutely sold Nintendo Switches. 3D Mario, it's the first 3D Mario to finally do it. That's my point. It's the first one.
it also had Jump Up Superstar. You can't beat Jump Up Superstar. That was a good ass
That's a
song.
great song. Right? That is a great fucking earworm of a song. Mario's always had those great music. They've always had great stuff and
Yeah,
great music production values.
I genuinely can't
Um,
think of a single Mario game with a bad soundtrack.
nope, they're always fantastic. Koji Kondo, man, one of
Him,
the goats.
him and the side people who do the side games, especially like Yoko Shinomura. Like getting her on board to do your RPG music was like a stroke of fucking genius from Nintendo.
Oh, that was so good. Yeah, that was good too. But yeah, either one of those games. Now, here's the thing. I do think there's going to be a residual effect from Tears of the Kingdom. I don't feel like people like Tears of the Kingdom as much as game reviewers and the internet like Tears of the Kingdom. I didn't hear a whole lot. Tears of the Kingdom sold insanely well, and then that truck dropped off a fucking cliff.
Yeah, I mean,
And there was a time where I won that bet with old OJ, by the way, which is, hey, you're not going to see this game outsell Breath of the Wild. It's not going to happen, and it didn't happen. It did not happen.
yeah, like I remember when it dropped, it had this insane like positivity, but once the honeymoon phase was over with, it got torn to shreds, bro. Like,
Yep. And so I think you're going to see blowback from that game impact the next Zelda game sales. That's how it always is, man.
yeah, thankfully they did say that they were kind of just done with the big open world concepts after Tears of the Kingdom.
But that's not good either. And the reason that's not good is because that is Zelda's gameplay identity. A big hostile world, a big dangerous hostile world. Give me dungeons to explore and give me shit to stick my sword into. If their response is to go back to Anuma Pa Zelda, if they're going back to Wind Wanker and Skyward Flop, and if they're going back to that, uh, what is it? Yeah, Twilight Boredom. If they're going back to that shit, the sales are going to go back to those sales.
I think with Echoes of Wisdom releasing, they're trying to find a balance between that, like the focus, like dungeon, like level design, and the big open do what you want concept.
Well, and I tried to tell people they already had that with Breath of the Wild. The only thing they needed to do is, instead of giving us one Hyrule Castle, they needed to give us 5 Hyrule Castles. Every single Great Beast dungeon should have been a Hyrule Castle. Hyrule Castle is one of the greatest Zelda dungeons ever put to a video game. It's so fucking good.
It was really good.
Hyrule Castle was incredible. And by the way, Elden Ring had success at this. Elden Ring basically does that. You have all the mini dungeons, and then you've got like 8 or 9 what they call legacy dungeons, and that's your big fucking castles and fortresses that you have to storm.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all they have to do. You don't have to fill it with puzzle gameplay. Make it dangerous. Make it a big labyrinth. Make you have to figure your way out around it to get to the boss or whatever. And fill it with shit that wants to kill you, man. Those dungeons were empty in both games. They were empty. There was no combat in those dungeons aside from the shitty boss. That's all they had.
Yeah, I will say I liked some of the mechanics of the Divine Beast dungeons. Like, for example, the elephant one where you had to balance it to shoot water out to solve some of the puzzles.
Yeah, you can do that, but you've got to give me some shit to kill and trying to kill me. While I maneuver the dungeon, it was empty. It was dead.
And I liked Tears of the Kingdom. Like, Tears of the Kingdom also, like, kind of evolved the combat a bit. I liked some of the new additions. Like, using different weapons was really cool.
Yeah.
Like, I loved running around with the spear. Like, I actually liked using the spear more than the sword. Like, I've never said that in a Zelda game where I liked things more than the main weapon. Like, that was fun.
Right.
Like, that was experimental. That was cool.
Well, and that comes back from, like, the old school games. So, for example, let's see, in A Link to the Past, all of your dungeon exploration items also had combat use. So, bow and arrow had combat use, obviously. Boomerang would freeze enemies, had combat use as well as exploration use. The magic cape, not only could you phase through some places, but you can also phase through enemy attacks, had combat use. The hook shot had combat use as well as dungeon exploration use. The fucking spell book that you use to open up the dungeons in the first world, you use it to cast your fucking magic. So the fucking spell book had combat usage. Like, every item had the different one, the ice rod, the fire rod. Every item in that game had dual usage. It would be used to solve exploration puzzles and fight enemies. Every single weapon. So bring that back. That's all I'm saying. Just bring it back. Everything should synergize. Everything should do well. Give us a big old world full of shit that wants to kill us, and make the dungeons extra scary versions of that. Extra concentrated, extra scary versions of the overworld exploration in a concentrated set location. Just give us. I mean, you should give us 8 to 13 as the standard for the series. They need to do that again.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my God, you'd watch that thing sell. But if you can't do that, can't be bothered to do that because of how onerous modern development is, just give us 5 or 6. 5 or 6. That's all.
Yeah, 5 or 6 really good ones.
Yep. 5 or 6 really, really good ones. Really scary, really good ones. Would love it. Absolutely love it. 3D Mario was the other pick. I don't know what you do, but I would never suspected Mario Kart was going open world. I leave it to Nintendo to come up with good ideas on where to take that. I will only caution folks that 3D Mario has only sold a system once. Every other time, 3D Mario failed to sell hardware. So I'm a little more hesitant to say that's going to happen this time.
I think I speak for all of us when we need to say, bring the Star Fox Adventure remake.
No.
And Switch will buy everybody a Switch too. It's time, Nintendo. You're sleeping on something great there.
Can we just have Dinosaur Island like it was supposed to be? I would love Dinosaur Island.
Yeah, even as someone who I actually liked Star Fox Adventure. But like,
how?
I don't know. I kind of turned my brain off playing it, but I liked the concept of like exploring the planet. To be fair, I'm not a massive Star Fox fan, so it's not like I have huge expectations for the franchise.
Okay, gotcha. I was like, because let me tell you how I kind of view Star Fox Adventures, right? So Star Fox is okay. Star Fox is all right. It's all right. It's great. It's good. Whatever. Star Fox 2. It's okay. Star Fox 64. Holy shit. This is it. This right here. This is fucking awesome. Star Fox Adventures. Why am I running around with a staff? What the fuck is this? Why am I running around doing puzzles all day? What is this? What the fuck does this have to do with Star Fox?
What do you feel about
My brain could not stop screaming that. Like, what is this shit? Then it turns out, it's a reskinning of Dinosaur Planet. They ripped Star Fox's skin off, and they did a Grizzly Buffalo Bill reskinning of Dinosaur Planet in Star Fox's skin. That's what happened. Okay.
Out of curiosity, how do you feel about Assault?
I actually didn't even know Assault existed until a few years back. And I think it was like Jay and OJ and Brandon from Just the Gems all like, oh yeah, there was that Star Fox game you wanted, which was Assault, and also OJ likes to bring up the fact that he's right. Well, on GameCube they gave you Rogue Squadron and Rogue Leader, which again I didn't play, but I hear are very good. I hear they're excellent.
Yeah, I liked Assault. Assault was pretty fun. It was an interesting. It was like a sequel to Adventure, but it basically was like, hey, what if we combined like third-person gameplay? Like, because the third-person gameplay in that one felt more like a Star Fox thing, because he was using guns and like lasers and stuff.
Are you in an R-wing?
Yes, there's like the game will have R-wing missions, and then it'll be like it's kind of like a Warriors title in a way where it like throws objectives at you.
Yeah,
because you're and there's
so
like
here's what I would
and there's like an all new enemy.
Here's what I would say. I think if I were to do a Star Fox expansion, what I would do is I would look at games like Rogue Squadron and Battlefront. Actually, that's what I would look at. I would look at. I think it needs to be aerial based. I think that needs to be really good, and I think you can expand that and give some maybe piloting like a mech down below, and you can do some missions on the planet, right? I think there's a lot of cool shit you can do with Star Fox. The thing is, anytime, and Nintendo had a big problem, the GameCube, they had a big problem with this, right? And the problem is balancing our need to be creatives while also satisfying the already set in stone expectations of what customers have for this IP. That way, every fucking game isn't making them scratch their heads like it did on the GameCube. What the fuck is this Star Racing game? And what does this have to do with Kirby? What the fuck is this running around with a staff doing magic puzzles game. What does this have to do with Star Fox? What the fuck is this bongo game? And what does this have to do with Donkey Kong Country?
Okay, I'll say this. I
It
wouldn't
was
have
in
minded.
every single fucking game on that system.
I'll say this. I wouldn't have minded the bongo thing if that was just a side like mini game in a Donkey Kong title.
That was the next main line. Yeah.
Like if that wasn't a mainline title and it was like something you did on the side in like the next Donkey Kong Country game, I wouldn't have cared. But like to get that sucked. Like
Yeah. I imagine like the shock of us that. I mean, fuck, even the 3D Mario game was like, okay, what the fuck is this? What does this window washing shit have to do? Now, it turns out I was wrong on that one. It's very much, it is very much a 3D platformer. Very much.
yeah, I think Sunshine is flawed, but I do
The
genuinely enjoy it
marketing
for its
was
vibes.
so bad on there. I thought it was an environmental cleanup game. I wanted no part of this fucking shit.
No,
Like, if I
it's
wanted
like,
to play fucking Blast Core, I'd play fucking Blast Core. What the fuck is this, Nintendo?
yeah, and then you just got a pretty good but not great 3D platformer out of it.
Yeah, I mean, even the good games, like, yeah, Metroid Prime was amazing, but and it was as good of a translation into 3D. Nintendo again having the sick 3D obsession. It was as good a translation into 3D as you could possibly get. But at the same time, like when I saw that game at the time, now again, I've recanted this position. I think it's great now. But at the time, once again, I'm like, okay, what the fuck is this?
It felt like a lot of that felt like they were trying to put like innovate in areas they just kind of didn't need to because they saw how
Yes,
much like the industry was evolving.
they wanted to have their cake and they wanted to eat it too, is what happened. They wanted the safety and security of an established IP with the creativity of a new IP.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
Yeah, so funnily enough,
Nintendo, that was the entire console generation of Nintendo just basically dying from terminal creativity.
yeah, like funnily enough, I've got a video, like a script I started today, talking about something I like to nickname the Great PS2 JRPG Purge.
Oh, what's that about?
It's talking about, you know how like the PS2 came out and there are like billions of games on it, right? Like billions of
Right.
franchises. So the
Yeah.
video is going to be going over like a bunch of the franchises that kind of just died there. Because like, yeah, we got a lot of stuff. We got like some of the most popular Final Fantasies. We got Kingdom Hearts. We got like a bunch of IPs being born on
that's
that
what
system.
happens anytime you have a red ocean. Anytime you have a red ocean, there's blood in the water because there's a lot of people fucking dying in that ocean.
Yeah, we got like a bunch of new IPs that are still very beloved to this day, like Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Daxter.
Right.
And like, but like in that era, there was also a bunch of JRPGs and like that were coming out and they just couldn't keep up and they died there. And like the most they got were maybe like a PSP game or they just turned into mobile titles or just got nothing. Like Wild
That's a
Arms.
video I'd like to see because again, that's an era. So I love your content when you do these RPGs or these games, like when you were doing the Kingdom Hearts, right?
Right?
So you were my window into Kingdom Hearts, like that whole convoluted fucking mess of a franchise.
Yeah.
Um,
And I love it.
you were my right into that, Crimson, because I never played any of those games. I was not playing video games at that time. So I got to kind of see a whole new world through those videos. So that's the kind of stuff. Like when you make that video, I'm very excited because I really, you do two videos I really like. One is when you play older games because you're kind of a youngin compared to me.
Yeah, I'm
And so
around.
you're going back and experiencing the games I experienced. I like that. And then also you do these deep dives into these different franchises and games. I'm like, I didn't even know that fucking existed. Or if it, I knew it existed, but I had no clue it was like that.
Yeah, I've already got 5 for the list so far. So far, I have Xenosaga, Wild Arms, Breath of Fire, because Breath of Fire kind of fucking died after its 5th game.
Yeah, well, Capcom just decided they purged a lot of franchises. They just like we're gonna be the Resident Evil Street Fighter company is basically what they said.
With Mega Man on the handheld. Here we go. Suikoden also died there.
Which Jay loves to scream Suikoden. He says he got to play it. And then Grandia, Miss Mandy always talks about Grandia. So those are two I definitely want to get into as Grandia and Suikoden. Again, RPGs they take a long time, and right now I'm bogged the fuck down in the Trail series as far as my RPG.
Oh, let's
games.
go. You're in the best series. You're in the best timeline.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm starting to become a real believer. Like the consistency, man.
How many have you played so far? Out of curiosity, I know like
All
last time I
50.
talked to you, you played in Zero.
Yeah, I finished Zero. I'm doing what's it called? There's so many. It's
Azure.
not Azure. I'm done with Azure. So Azure's
Okay,
done. Zero's done. So I've got Crossbell Arc shelved.
awesome. My personal
Yeah, I
favorite.
want to motorboat them titties will always forever stand out to me. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, Azure
Um,
is like Crossbell is like my favorite arc in the series still to this day. It is such a well done, like well paced arc.
it's excellent. Again, I can't get it out of my head that somebody actually localized. Yeah, I just want to motorboat them titties.
Exactly.
Like that actually ended up local. Somehow that made it, and that will never leave my mind. It's like, wow,
Yeah,
okay.
that was back when they were still
Not sure how
hiring
that
fan
made it in,
translators.
but congratulations.
Are you are you on
So
are you on Cold Steel now, or are you on Sky,
nope, it's not Cold Steel. It's not Sky.
or are you on Calvard?
Um, I don't know what Talvard is,
Is
so
that
it doesn't
Daybreak?
sound. Daybreak Trails for Daybreak. That's what
Okay,
I'm on.
yeah, Daybreak's awesome.
Just started Daybreak. That's the one.
Daybreak is fucking awesome. That is like my third favorite
I'm
Trails
staying
game.
away from Cold Steel because I still have in my heart of hearts to hope that we're going to get Cold Steel 1 and 2 on Switch. So I'm staying away from that for now.
Yeah, I will say if it doesn't come by the end of next year, like go to like Steam because it's on sale
Okay.
there constantly.
Yeah. And just play those there. And then the other one is I'm waiting for, of course, for Calvert Arc, I'm waiting for Trails from the Sky. We're going to get all three of those on Switch, so I'm not worried about that at all.
Yeah, they're definitely aiming to put those over that, which is great because like you can only get the original trilogy on PC. So
Yes.
like that's the main thing I'm happy
Um,
about is there more people are finally because a lot of people still haven't played Sky to this day because they don't have
how's the
Steam.
remake looking, by the way? Apparently, that's the one that really needed the remake.
Oh, the remake looks fantastic. Like so much more voice acting. The new graphics look insane.
Okay.
Like you can tell, like this is also them probably testing out an engine for the next arc because everything looks so fantastic in that. The gameplay looks very nice, and they're adding in this really fun detail of pulling out their orbments to cast spells.
Okay. So I've heard that Farewell Zemuria is going to be the last game in the series. That's not true.
No, Farewell Zemuria is going to be like one of the last games in the Calvard arc. There's supposed to be like one more arc after it.
Oh,
Like
so Farewell Zemuria is the trail. It's number 4 in the Sky trilogy then.
Farewell Zemuria is going to be the third one in the Calvard series in the Daybreak saga.
Oh, so that's okay. So that's Daybreak 3.
Yeah, that's Daybreak 3, and then we're getting a sequel to that that might be announced at the shareholder meeting that's coming up in December.
Okay, when is I know Azure tied up nicely. When do we get our third Azure game? I love the fucking crossbow.
I'm gonna hold your hand when I tell you this, Sue. Like, just
Okay, I'm sitting down. Please
you're
explain to me
never.
why I can't have a third game with Lloyd Bannings.
You do not get that until the Cold Steel arc because Lloyd Banning's story is done after Azure. Like he gets one more like main character role in Reverie later on, but like that's kind of where Azure ends.
Like definitively?
Like so the thing about like Crossbell's storyline is that when you play Cold Steel, it makes sense when you're playing the Cold Steel games. Like it's not happening before Cold Steel. Like all of the stuff during the Crossbell storyline is happening during Cold Steel 1 and 2. Like
Yeah, because it's leading up to basically what ends up being like a war, right?
yeah, because like the first two games of Cold Steel, you actively are going through Erebonia, and one of the coolest aspects is you get to see what's happening in Azure as you're going through Cold Steel. Like
It's really cool.
yeah, it's like the concept of like, hey, all that stuff you fought through, well, in Erebonia, you're now seeing that from the outside perspective.
Yeah, it's why Narabonia is like a totally different place. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the technological forefront. So that's like where you see the technology most. They have like fucking cars, like way more common there.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, you do not play as Lloyd again until like one special scene in Cold Steel 2, which I won't spoil.
Okay.
And then he doesn't get a main character role until like until Reverie. Like Lloyd's story is very much a very short in comparison to everyone else's.
Damn.
Yeah, I love Lloyd. Don't get me wrong, but like at the same time, I also
Lloyd fucking Bannings, man.
yeah, I love the guy, but I also am kind of glad they didn't stretch out his story because his arc
Fair.
finishes perfectly, in my opinion.
Yeah, as I say, I'm very satisfied with Azure. I was very satisfied until you literally just told me that everybody's getting a third game. Fucking Cold Steel got 4 fucking games,
Oh, we
and
got
my
5
boy.
if you count Reverie. Like, just the main thing about Cold
What?
Steel is like it was originally supposed to be 3 because Cold Steel 1 and 2 were supposed to be the same game, but Falcom kind of overshot themselves and had to split it in half.
Now, what's Trails into Reverie? Is that another
That's like
Trails
the
game?
Trails into Reverie is like okay, so there are like 2 halves to the narrative of Trails. Reverie is the end point for the first half. Like it closes out the arc for the main protagonist of Cold Steel, Reen Schwarzer, and it closes the story for Lloyd.
Oh shit! So I gotta get that on Switch too. I missed that one.
Yeah,
Oh, that you know what that means?
Reverie is
Ah,
very much the
fuck.
game you play after you beat the Cold Steel storyline because like that's the
Ah,
ending for the main character there, and that's the conclusion of Lloyd's arc there.
God damn it! And I missed it. You know what that fucking means? Give me a second.
All right.
Okay, get your asshole puckered, Zoo. Here we go. On.com.
Oh, you're gonna buy it?
We'll see how that price looks, huh?
All right. Shouldn't be too bad. I think it's like $60 or something.
75 fucking dollars.
Damn.
Oh no, wait, I'm looking at something different. Okay, no, okay, here it is, 56. Oh, that's CD-ROM. What the deluxe edition? What the fuck?
Yeah,
It
you're.
says CD. No, it can't be right. Let me click on this real quick. I
But
want
yeah,
the Nintendo Switch. So Trails into Reverie Nintendo Switch. And they have this listed as that's the 18. That's why. Nope. The North American one is $75.
that's kind of crazy. I don't remember it being that expensive.
Well, it's because it's NIS, man. These motherfuckers always limited release games.
That's true. But yeah, like
They
that's gonna be the conclusion to Lloyd's arc. It's the conclusion to Reen's arc. And there's like a third character you play as, and I'm not going to spoil that one because that one's a great reveal, and it's arguably the best story in the game.
Azure is 94 now.
Well, I'm
Switch.
very glad I got mine at GameStop for like 60. Like,
Look at some of these prices. Yeah, Trails of Cold Steel 4, 64. Ah, damn.
yeah, the one thing you want to do about Trails is always buy it from secondhand retailers because you'll get it much better. Nice is very cruel with their prices.
Yeah. They sure are. Jesus.
Yeah, they don't.
Oh, fuck that one up.
Yep, but like Reverie is also like committed as one of the best games in the series. So when you get that, you will very much enjoy it.
Alrighty.
Yeah, and then
Damn.
and then that's where it ends, and then the second half of Trails is the Daybreak Saga.
Fuck it. I'm gonna order it. Motherfucker.
Yeah. So yeah, you're in for like a genuinely great journey. Like,
I'm sure I am. I'm just swallowing the shit sandwich, and I missed this Nice game, and now I'm fucked.
it's right, a Yeast game. My buddy just gifted me
It's
Yeast
all
8.
play.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely worth it. It's definitely fucking worth it.
Yeah. So out of curiosity, you got anything else to talk about, or?
So I had a question for you. So you were doing the Xenosaga, and you really fucking hated Xenosaga too.
Yep, I made that video and everything. Go check that out. I'll say this: my hate was a little overblown. I don't hate it as much as Secret of Mana. That video is gonna be fun because I'm working on that one right now.
Dude, I can't fucking wait to see your truth talk on Secret of Mana. I remember back in the day, I gave that game a 4 out of 5.
I gave that,
which I feel like was overinflated.
I gave
way overinflated.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. I give it a 3.5 out of 10. Like, I think
that's more accurate, but you were more honest than I was.
I think that's even worse than what I gave Rechain, and I hated Rechain of Memories.
So, here's the thing. And actually, let me go. I'm gonna see. Is that review still up? Because I'll read you.
Yes, it is. Like you read that to me once when we were in a Discord chat, and I agreed with when I told you the names of my characters were bitch and faggot.
I remember that now. Okay.
It's a good time.
Yeah, because here's the thing: the AI is remedial. It's fucking dumb.
Yeah, like I complain about that. Don't you worry. I mentioned how they don't do anything if you don't touch the board, And if you do touch the board to make them more attackers, they just fucking bum rush everything in sight, and it's irritating as shit.
Yeah, or when you're in the woods and they get stuck on the fucking hedges while the guy behind the hedge like fucking kills them with arrows.
Yeah, it's one of the most frustrating things I've ever played.
No, the woods, the misty forest area going to the castle where you fight the tiger. I wanted to quit. I wanted to fucking quit.
Yeah, I was able to push through it through like sheer determination.
It's got some great settings. Like I love the travel is like getting shot out of a fucking cannon.
It
love
looks
that.
like on a technical standpoint, it's amazing. Like I'll say that. Like in visual and music, it's fantastic.
But whoever thought up the idea of having to wait fucking 10 seconds between your fucking attacks needs to be drug out and beaten.
Yeah, and the fact that like it's so frustrating, and the animations you constantly have to sit through.
Oh, it's like, nah, dude, seriously, you should literally be like stripped of your clothing, put on a leash, and forced to live in the sewers of Tokyo for the rest of your fucking life.
Damn, but I don't disagree. I'll say this: Trials of Mana. I'm playing through that right now. That one's way better.
Trial, that one that's the beat 'em up sequel. That's the beat 'em up one, right?
I don't.
Let me elaborate on that. There's no. You don't have to wait 10 seconds between your attacks. You can just spam the attack button, and so it's like a top-down beat 'em up to me.
Yes, it feels so much better to play. So
it's so good. Yeah, and you get to pick your 3 characters, which lead to 3 different ending dungeons and end bosses. And you have 2 different antagonists depending on whoever your main character is will determine your 2 main antagonists.
Yeah, my main character was the Knight Duran. So
okay, so your main antagonist is the wizard guy, and I think the Dragon Emperor, if I'm not mistaken.
It might be. I have not met the Dragon Emperor yet.
It's gonna be your main. Yeah, well, that's your final boss guy. But the wizard guy who beats your ass in the opening scene is your main antagonist for most of the game.
He's my op.
Yeah, the red cloaked mage or whatever. Yeah, he's the guy you're I gotta kill that guy. He fucking ruined my life. Yeah. Yeah, it's so great.
Yeah, very much so.
Who else did you take with you?
Angela, the princess, and the one chick.
Big titty ice princess. Okay.
Yeah, and the Valkyrie girl.
And Valkyrie girl. Okay. Yeah, those are all good stories. No Kevin this playthrough, huh?
No, I did not think of that, honestly. I heard everyone loved Kevin, though.
Kevin's phenomenal. Kevin's phenomenal. You'll definitely want to take him on your next go, and there will be a next go. And by the way, I always like to everybody brags, well, Dragon Age Origins. It was actually done first by this fucking game right here.
Yeah.
Whole origin story. Yep, Secret of Mana did it first. Other than that, no, I think we're good. Good combo for sure, and we'll have to definitely do it again. You know me, summon me anytime, man.
Yeah, I might do another. If we can get OJ on here, that would be cool, because I want to do another one like maybe a few months from now when the Switch has had more time to like leave its honeymoon phase.
Yeah, let's reach out. And boy, he might really like that because he might be able to kind of crow a little bit to me on that. So here's the thing, like ultimately, I guess we'll end on this note. I don't have the Switch 2 as a Wii U level flop. I think people that are saying that are just delusional. I do see it having an SNES or N64 style trajectory, though.
I see it as probably going to be a 3DS era where they have to make some big changes in order for it to sell better. Like, it's going to hit some walls, but, like, they're going to have to change some stuff. Like, I know for a fact the game key cards are not surviving past, like, 3 years.
Well, and OJ made a really interesting point there. He actually thinks the game key cards are like a stopgap. Because he brought up the point that Donkey Kong Bonanza shipped on a 64 gigabyte card. It's the only card they have available right now. Because apparently these are all being made in one factory. They're super proprietary. And so basically what OJ thinks is happening is the game key cards are away. Let's get through the first year. Let's get different cart variations out. Nintendo needs that too. Because if you think Nintendo likes eating 50 gigabytes worth of cartridge that they're paying for from these factories when they don't have to do that, Donkey Kong could have fit on a 16 gigabyte cartridge, man.
Yeah, like that's also Nintendo black magic at work. Shit they can do with their.
Yeah, Nintendo is not eating a 64 gigabyte cartridge themselves either forever. They're not doing that. And so OJ is convinced that the cartridge sizes will come down. There'll be variations offered. And when that happens, that probably spirits the game key cards away for the most part. I hope he's right. I do hope he's right. Because, yeah, it's game key card thing, that's dookie, man. That's fucking bullfuck. Nobody wants that.
Yeah, nobody. Like, I was all for them at first because I thought, okay. But then, like, you guys kind of started pointing out what happens when they shut the system servers down.
It's done. It's over.
Like, I like the idea. Like, I like the concept of, like, hey, you can now, like, share games with people by doing this.
Yeah, but it's e-waste. Yeah, once those servers go off, it's e-waste, man. And they
can,
will
like,
go off. People are like, well, that's going to be 10, 20 years. It's going to happen someday.
Yeah, like, I still have, like, again, I've told you, I've been using my PS3 a lot. Like, I'm still able to pull out games and play those.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Exactly.
I can still play, like, Eternal Sonata and Tales of Xillia and Final Fantasy 13, because, like, they're all there. Like, it's cool. I don't have to worry about it.
Time will tell. I mean, time will tell, but I predict, I'm predicting anywhere from 70 to 90 million units total for its life.
Yes, unless the main thing I think is also going to be a factor is like what they put out. Like Switch had an insane lineup, but I don't think
it only takes one game. Yeah, it only takes one game.
Yes, if they can drop like a genre-defining title like they did, because they had like 2 back-to-back ones with Odyssey and Breath of the Wild. Like,
yeah, and if anybody can do it, it's Nintendo. If anybody can do it, it's Nintendo.
I am happy they are giving Donkey Kong another chance to like really shine. Again, that's one thing I've liked about this new era of Nintendo is they're not afraid to let their other franchises have Mario budgets.
And I'll tell you, Donkey Kong needed it. Donkey Kong really needed it. I love Donkey Kong Country as much as the next guy. But you can clearly see the sales are starting to sharply decline. People are over it, right?
Yeah, I love
Donkey Kong needed this Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey level shit. It needed it.
Yeah, I loved Tropical Freeze. Tropical Freeze is like my second favorite Donkey Kong game.
It's right up there with Donkey. Here's a question for you: have you played Donkey Kong Country 2?
Yes, I got stuck on one of the final levels with the stupid fucking like bounce snakes, and I never got past that. Yeah.
So here's my question for you: Donkey Kong Country 2 or Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze? Which is your favorite of the two?
That's a really tough one.
Donkey Kong Country?
Because to me, I think I might have to go with Tropical Freeze because I love the ability of having different party members to give you different abilities.
It's very cool. That's a very cool thing. And the platforming is picture perfect, Titan.
Yeah, it feels so good to control, which is like the main thing you need in a platformer. Is it's gotta feel good to move around.
Absolutely. Well, okay. Well, thanks again. I always appreciate coming on here. It's always fun. Always good to shoot the shit.
It's always good to have you on, man.
Yep, you betcha.
And thank you all for coming. If you want to follow Switch, I'll be posting this video. This new video will be up on the second channel tomorrow, and I will post his link under there.
Thank you, man. I do shit occasionally, guys. Occasionally, I'll stream games.
Yeah, I pinned the comment. I got to do that for the other ones. I keep forgetting because like the main channel is my priority, but I want to try to do the second channel a little more.
Oh fuck yeah, yeah. Second channel is always good. Probably a smart way to do it too, if you're trying to grow. Because like I lump it all in one channel, and the algorithm has no fucking clue what to do with me.
Yeah, I want to like the main thing is I want to try to make that where I put my streams because that was what the second channel was supposed to be. But I got lazy.
Right.
Like, I have a bad habit of getting, like, stupid lazy on that stuff.
And hey, from one lazy guy to another, no judgment here.
Yeah, so, like...
There's literally times I'll go months without doing shit on those channels.
True, yeah, so, like, that's...
I'm still fucking shocked that as many people are subscribed to that fucking thing as... Wow.
Look, man, I'm gonna say, I've watched your streams. You're, like, very good at interacting with the audience. Like, that's your biggest strength when you stream. And I think that's what pulls so many people, too. Because you're good at talking. Like, you're good at having, like, discussions. And people love to come to streams for that.
Yeah, and again, I see a comment. I can't help it. I gotta jump at it. Like, I'm a fat kid on a fucking donut.
Yeah, like, that's a strength a lot of streamers... Like, they'll bet a lot of the more popular... Like, people joke about guys like Moist Critical being very, like, stoic. But, like, he's very good at, like, articulating his points and talking with people. Like,
Dude, I could listen to Moist Critical talk all day.
Speaking of that, did you hear he was caught up in that Mudahar drama a little while back?
I did, yeah.
That was
Yep.
funny as fuck. Like, okay,
I,
so
I follow. I follow. Just his commentary on like the slap scene. Oh my god, it's so good.
yeah, like I'll say this: the Mudahar stuff, like I definitely think he deserved to be criticized. Like making double-digit videos about the Switch 2 and then being one of the first to buy it. Like I do think he deserved to be criticized, but I'll say this: I would rather him be criticized for this than other stuff we've had to criticize big YouTubers for in recent time.
Yeah, yeah. I compared to a lot of YouTube sins, it's relatively.
It's just a
But
little. It was just a bit hypocritical, really. Like it's like rib him for a week and then just it's over. Like literally not that bad.
I don't know. I'm just glad. I'll tell you. I'm just glad that like the drama now. It's so funny because it's like poor OJ shaking his head at me. There's so many people that are like, "Man, Zoo really turned heel over this," and it's like, "Yeah, I did," but you know what? Life is way more interesting when every once in a while you have a heel turn in your life. It just
Yeah.
is. So I'm the same fucking grumpy, crotchety old man I was for the Switch. It's just now that anger is being vented at Nintendo a little bit more.
Yeah, and at the very
Um,
least, you're
and,
not
and
going
by the
to.
way, I told OJ because we were talking about that, and I'm like, buddy, you should have seen me during the Wii U. You should have seen me during the GameCube. Like, this is nothing new, homie.
And I'll
I
say,
just don't know where this came from. It's like, yeah, this came from the fact that I have a I come at things from a very, very different perspective than most gamers. I, I'm looking at this from a totally different angle. And I'm also a guy that will not lower my standards under any circumstances. If you want me to play your new Mario game, it must be as good as Odyssey, or if it's 3D, or Mario World slash Mario 3 if it's 2D. If you want me to play Metroid, it must be at least as good as Dread. If you want me to play Zelda, it must be as good as Breath of the Wild. Nintendo used to be able to meet these standards. Just this generation, Nintendo met those standards for me.
mm-hmm.
So they can do it, but when they don't do it, I will be the first to let you fucking know that I felt like they didn't do it.
Yeah, and I appreciate
Every
the
time.
fact that you're like this, and you're not like those guys online who are just harassing people for buying a Switch 2.
Oh, that too. Yeah, fuck those people, man. Stop pocket watching. It is none of your goddamn business what people choose to buy. Like, can I think they're fucking dumb for buying it? Sure, but it does no good to express that to them. Number one, you're going to harden their position, so
Yeah,
you're not doing yourself any favors. Number two, why do you give a fuck how good the Switch is doing or not? Why do you care? Are you an investor? Are you an investor in a rival? No, because you're a gamer. You don't have investment. I'm sorry, it's just the way it is for 90% of them.
Speaking of that,
So
do you know
why
that?
are you so obsessed with this? Now I can tell you why I am. I'm a fucking data analysis nerd. That's my whole background. I come from the business world, and I'm a complete nerd when it comes to analyzing and predicting. So again, I'm just freaky that way. But most of these people, they're just hating, man. They're just there to hate, and it's none of your business what people choose to buy. It's not even, and here's even the thing: even if the Switch 2 wins, and let's say game key cards are sell 1 million copies each, okay, you know what? I lost that battle. I guess I'll go do something else. I've had to do it for entire system generations. I spent an entire 2 generations in exile from gaming, basically, because gaming decided to go in a direction I didn't like. I didn't cry about it. I didn't bitch about it. I just became disinterested and went on with my life to do other things. And when the Wii came around and did what I wanted it to do, I played. And when the Wii U said, hey, Zoo, you're not going to like this, I left again. Came back for the Switch. That's what you get to do in a market economy. You vote with your dollar, and you don't always end up things don't always end up the way you expect them to. Sometimes you're not on the right side of the market, and that's okay. Should be.
Yeah, like I
Like,
think,
I don't get it.
like I think the biggest thing is like again, like you said, that just solidifies these people. Like you can absolutely hate the decisions Nintendo is making. I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm happy with every decision they've done with the Switch 2. But like when you go online
Yeah,
and you like straight up harass people for spending their money on something, you're not
I
really
hate that
winning an
so much.
argument. You just look like an asshole.
Yeah, well, you are an asshole. You know, you are a fucking asshole.
Yeah,
I watched this stuff in there's a guy named Bo Talks Gaming. I don't follow him. I don't watch his shit. But he literally posted a thing like, "Hey, can't wait to play Yakuza 0, I think is what he was playing, right?"
mm-hmm.
And he posted a picture of him holding his game keycard case. Oh boy, that's all it fucking took. The entire anti-game keycard Twitter descended on this guy to wish harm on him and to say he's ruining gaming and to say he's a fucking moron and a retard and you're like, yeah, good job ruining this hobby. It's like, Jesus Christ. Like, the guy didn't even say anything about game key cards. He just posted a picture of a product he bought.
Yeah,
Like,
it
what
just
are you people doing? He's like, man, it's times like these that you kind of just don't want to do this anymore. And I'm like, yeah, good job, assholes.
yeah, because
Like,
there's also the other side with the people who are just being completely bootlicking to Nintendo stuff, like that one Shadow Fox guy. I think you've seen him around.
oh yeah, I've been rounds with that guy. That guy's a moron. But
There's like the Juice
but then
dude.
you've got but I try to keep it to the good faith folks. So like OJ and I will debate all the time. You'll see that all the time if you follow me on Twitter.
Yeah, I follow both of you. You
And
guys have filled up my TL half the time whenever that happens.
yeah, but they're good discussions.
Yeah, they're good discussions. Don't get me
They're,
wrong. You
they're,
guys are very respectful to each other.
yeah, they're good discussions, and it's two people coming at it from good faith, from different perspectives, and that's what we need more of. That's how we work this shit out. And here's the amazing thing: one of us will be right, and one of us will be wrong. Maybe one of us is right about a few things, and the other's right about a few things. But what all that's going to do is it's going to make my analysis next time better. If I'm wrong, it's okay to be wrong. What I do is I then say, okay, why was I wrong? What did I get right? What did I get wrong? What did I miss here? And all these discussions with somebody like Player Essence are going to be a great calibration for that, man. They're going to be phenomenal for that. And so I will never not appreciate an alternative point of view. Just today, he missed something he found something I completely missed, which is the fact that, hey, do you think, like, come on, Zoo, do you think Nintendo likes buying 64 gigabyte cards? No, this is going to come down, man. And I thought, oh shit, you know what? You're right. These are going to come down. Nintendo's going to make sure these come down. So it's just a matter of putting your perspective, putting your grievances in perspective, putting the things you like in perspective, and being able to have that dialogue with each other. And that's what does it, man. All these people screaming each other down and calling each other names, and it doesn't get you anywhere. I always told me and OJ always joke. It's like, we're too fucking old for this. Like, going to the bar and picking fights with other youngins, that's a youngins thing, man. Like, I'm too old for that shit. Like you'll notice too, I never go to other people's pages and attack them. All my posting is on my page, all of it. Like, I'm just in my little corner of the internet making my observations, and if you want to have a discussion with me, I'm here. But I'm not going to go out of my way to go on someone else's page. Hey, yeah, just so you know, you're a fucking moron. You're ruining the hobby buying key cards, asshole.
Yeah, like I've told you this story before. I haven't super shared it, but like one of my friends, like back in high school, was going through his parents were going through like a really bad divorce.
Right.
And he got a Wii U out of it, and I didn't like the Wii U. I didn't say anything.
Yeah, that's a great story.
And it I didn't like it, but like it made him happy. It was like it helped him get through that time, and it's one of his favorite systems as a result. And it's like, I can't say anything. Like, I don't like the system, but it means a lot to him. So it's like,
yes,
like I'm not gonna be an asshole and tell him he's wrong.
Exactly, and it's the same thing with anything. Like, ultimately, at the end of the day, whether the Switch 2 sells or whether the Switch 2 doesn't sell, the market will make that decision. It'll either sell or it won't sell, and if it sells, then gamers are going to get more of that, and that's their choice. I'm old. I have over 500. I think I'm over 500. I haven't counted for a while. Probably over 500. I will be over 500 by the time the Switch sunsets. I'll be over 500 games. I could play those games and not play another new fucking game as long as I live, and never. I'll keel over before I play and review all those games at this point. There's no reason for me to hold any grudge whatsoever if gamers choose I can think they're the worst customers all day long, and I do. But if they choose that direction, who is this old man to stand in the way of a direction that they choose just because I don't understand what they've chosen? Maybe I'm missing something. And it's not really my place at this point. Gaming is for the young. It always has been for the young. I'm just on board because I love it too.
Mm-hmm.
If this is what they like, if they like live service and they like digital, and that's the direction the market's going because the market and the gamers have spoken, truly no grudges. I truly mean it. A lot of people think I'm being sarcastic. I truly mean what I say. When I say, if you like modern gaming, enjoy modern gaming. I would never want to take that from you.
Yeah, same.
Never want to take that from you. So yeah, on that note, but yeah, again, it got me on an old man ramble again. That's what happens.
Yep. Until then, new episode done.
Yeah, que sera, sera, whatever shall be, shall be. And it's going to be okay. It's just fucking video games at the end of the day, guys.
Yep.
So,
thank you for coming on. I appreciate that. It's kind of the end here. I don't really have anything else unless you've got something to say.
No, I've said plenty. I always do. But thanks so much, guys. I appreciate you.
Yep. And we end